Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back into my beading mat, and welcome back into the channel, and welcome if you're new. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this beautiful, blessed day. Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. Merry Christmas Eve. So, friends, this is what's happening here. So, as many of you know, if you've been around the channel, I believe I put something in the community post about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I have been under the weather, fighting not one but two infections, and trying to get on the mend. And it's just got me down. And so I have not posted a whole lot of content. And never mind out of Sleigh Ride, my sparkle bag for November, which was my holiday bag. That's so funny that I even just decided to say that my holiday sleigh ride. Really, John? You think it was was it your holiday bag? Okay, guys. So first things first. Here's the situation. Okay, here's the coffee. Okay, and I'm still on the coffee. So it's words, guys. It's words. So we'll try to get on track. Anyway, guys. Here's what I decided to do. If any of you are at home, like I am, maybe you will just beat along with me, or I can bring maybe a little inspiration to you. We'll have a little fun making a ton of jewelry. I've had so many ideas for Sleigh Ride and just have not been able to pump it out for one reason or another. So, by the way, guys, I am on the mend. I had an ear infection. It was a sinus infection that morphed into that. And I think the ear infection has cleared up. I finished those meds yesterday, but now I'm on a second antibiotic for the sinus infection. And it's just got me, guys. It's just got a hold of me. And if any of you struggle like me with really bad allergies and sinus stuff, you feel me, right? Sometimes it just gets us down. And that's kind of what's happening. But I thought, I'm going to get on the mat and I'm going to spend Merry Christmas Eve with my favorite people, which are all of you. So we're going to make a ton of jewelry today. I have absolutely no method to madness in the order we're going to make anything. But I will tell you this, my loves. I have had so many projects sitting right here in my next to this, next to my tree, for many weeks, obviously. However long ago, I think it's been almost 2 months since I've launched that bag. And I just have not been able to get as many things done as I've wanted to get done. So we're going to make a ton of holiday jewelry today. Again, I've got a lot of things in project mode, half done. I would like to get them done, and that's what we're going to do today. My friends, let me tell you, I have so much left of my sleigh ride, but I guess it's okay because, maybe we'll do some more stuff tomorrow. I'm still kind of under the weather. I'm home for the holidays, and I think that's a jingle. Wouldn't it be great, guys, if we could just play holiday music? There's so much copywriting on the music. We can't do it. But at any rate, maybe I'll jump on tomorrow for Christmas and we'll do something fun because I haven't used a lot of the white jade and I wanted to do a fun knotting project with the white jade gemstones that came out of that bag. In the meantime, guys, that's enough. Okay, I'm just gibbering and jabbering because I don't know. I've got antibiotic on the brain. I don't know. Oh, my friends. Oh, my goodness. So let's get to it. So, guys, this is just probably going to be a really long video, and we're just going to make a ton of jewelry. Okay, so I've got all kind of things going on here. So let's start with this right here. I was thinking, guys, I literally probably have 6, 7 things out here. We'll see what I have the strength to get to. But I had done this really pretty herringbone wrap on this gorgeous disc bead that came in my bag. And I thought this would be so pretty with copper. And although I put silver and gold undertones in this bag, I just thought, why not do copper? And then I thought maybe we'd make some ear wires. We could do that. Or guys, another thing we could do is, see, this is what I'm saying. This is just all these half projects I have going. Or the white leather that came in my bag. Look how pretty that is. Just hanging that literally on a piece of this leather. I mean, that's just really pretty. You could also make this really short, you know, and do a sliding knot closure to make it more of like a choker, you know, I'm not mad at that either. So, I mean, there's just a ton of fun things, but when I mentioned during my launch that, man, these beads were screaming a herringbone to me. And so I did wood. So I've got that, and I think we're going to start there. Let me push you in, friends. And then we'll make some ear wires too. So guys, I'm not even going to talk about supplies or tools because we're just going to use all the things today. We're going to do all the things. I think what I want to do is we need some 22 gauge is what we need. And we need some bail making, and we need stuff and things. So let me get the stuff and things. Well, we don't need you yet, but we do need you. And I think we need you and you. And possibly you. Okay. So, okay, guys. So I'm going to use some 22 gauge. And let's start with this and this. So, guys, making a herringbone wrap, I'll make this. I really don't want to do didn't want to make this like a tutorial, but I know a lot of you probably would love to see like a tutorial on a herringbone. So I'll walk you through this one. So I'm going to use some 22 gauge fronds. We'll make some ear wires as well. And the amount of wire you're going to cut for a herringbone, it really does just depend on how many wraps you want, right? So this section here, right? How many wraps do you want? It completely up to you. You can also do wraps on both sides. So we're going to use some 22 gauge. You can use 24 gauge or something like that. So let me tell you, I'm going to eyeball this. I'm going to assume that's about 16 or so inches. Probably more like 20. And I'm just going to straighten that out. So straighten out that wire. Now, we do want to have straight wire work when we're doing a herringbone. So let me get that off the spool and put that to the side for a second, and then we'll make some ear wires. Okay, so here's what we'll do to start out a herringbone. Let me get you focused, and are you in? I think you're in. Okay, so I've got my super long piece of wire, okay, and I'm just going to make a bend. Now I'm going to go down as far as I want. So there's really no hard and fast rule, friends, although we have guides, right? So you can go down like 1, 2, 3 inches. It's completely up to you. However much wire that we're going to bend and do wraps on right now is, again, dependent upon this stem right here. How many herringbone wraps do we want to do? So I usually do about seven wraps as like a general guide, so to speak. So I'm going to put my bend in there, okay? And to me, that looks like plenty enough to do 7 wraps, okay? And then I'll go in here with my round nose. And we are going to come up and around. We're going to start our wire wrap loop like we always do. Okay, so I've got my lollipop head there. And now we're just going to take and wrap this around, again, however many times. Now, I'll mention here, if you're new to a herringbone, it does not matter here if you have clean or messy wraps. If you're particular, you can make them clean, but it does not matter in the fact that we are getting ready to cover this up, right, with the herringbones. But I'm seeing that they're pretty messy. I don't want them to be too far apart, so I am going to smush them. It's called smush. We'll smush. And let me just do a few more wraps here. Okay, and let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7. It's about 7 right there. Okay. And then again, I'm just gonna kind of squeeze these together a little bit without distorting that too much, but I'm not too worried about it again because we're getting ready to cover that up. Okay, and then I'm gonna trim it in the back. And again, I'm also not really worried about tucking that in or what this looks like because we are going to cover it completely up. You can't even see the stem, right? So that's what I have, okay? And now what I'll do is I'm going to put my bead on, and let's do a pretty herringbone wrap. And wouldn't you know, of all the beads I have in front of me, I don't have that bead. All right, well, there you go. Okay. I know you're in. There you are. Okay, great. Guys, don't you love these beads? Oh my goodness. I love those beads. And by the way, friends, if you do not have Sleigh Ride, that's okay. Use any beautiful beads and bead along with me. Absolutely use any beads. So we'll slide our bead on. Now, this is a fantastic bead for a herringbone because of the depth there, right? We've got a nice side. So there we go. I've got my bead on. And what I'm going to do, friends, is literally take my, I'm going to hold my bead. I'm just going to take my wire and I'm going to pull it up and hug the side here. Okay. I'm sorry if wire's flinging. Got you guys down pretty well. I'm going to go right up against the side of that bead. Okay. And then I'm going to go around the top stem here. Okay. So we'll consider this our stem. And I am going to wrap. One nice wrap around, come back around the other side. Okay. Now, every time I'm doing this, I'm going to straighten my wire out. Okay. Now I'm just going to go down and follow the bead, basically down the side, all the way around here. Okay. Come back up on this other side here. Okay. And now I'm back at my stem. And same thing. I'm going to go up and over the top and wrap it one time. Okay, and that's how we're going to get a herringbone wrap. We're just going to keep doing this. Okay, and so now we'll go again, back down, and notice how I'm just kind of turning my bead. It's easier, I think, if you just turn your bead as you're working. I feel it is easier. Okay, so there we go. Now we're back at the top again, and we're going to come up, and we're going to do one wrap around. There we go. Okay, and again, straight. And just come on down. Down and around the side. And around and around. And up. And a nice wrap there. And we still got a bit of stem and a bit of wire to cover. So we'll just keep going around here. All right, and up at the top and around. And a little bit more here. So I'm gonna go down and around. And I think that's my last wrap right there, guys. Let me check. 1, 2, well, I could also match them up. Yep. Okay, so when I'm done, I'm gonna do a second wrap. And then we will trim it. So that was pretty good measurement. Not a lot of waste right there. And I will definitely tuck that in. And then we'll turn our loop, friends, the direction that we need that to be. So also I'm going to kind of look and see, does everything, look pretty decent? It does. It's pretty decent. But I do want my loop to be the other way. So I'll just grab that loop, guys. And I'm just going to turn it like that. So there we go. It's a pretty decent wrap. Pretty decent. And it is really easy on the 22 gauge, 24 gauge too. So there we go. Oh, well, one's just a little bit longer than the other, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay. Because I'm not going to completely redo that. But at any rate, there we go. And you know what? When I'm wearing them, you probably can't really tell. So that's all right. So let's see. What do I have? 22 gauge? Yeah. Okay, so let's grab a couple pieces of wire. We just really don't need much. Probably about a 2-inch piece there. And we'll grab a couple of pieces here. And I'm gonna kind of marry them up here, and then I'll flush cut on both sides. And we'll make a pair of ear wires here. I'm gonna grab my bail making for that. Okay, there we go. And so let's go into that bottom bail. Kind of a little off center there. I'm just gonna pull that up and around. And that's what we've got there. And I'm going to separate them now. Let's do, where are you? There you are. Okay, so I'm going to kick the back up here. That'll be the back. So we'll kick those up. Okay, and I think I need to trim these a little bit. Well, that just is not working. Okay, I'll do one at a time. Okay, and I think what I'm going to do now is maybe we'll just do a standard ear wire here. So let's see. Maybe we'll do like a medium loop. So I'm just going to roll that up. And then I'll kick this down a little bit. And we'll open that. And then we will put that on there. In which case I need to turn my loop the other way. So we can do one of two things here, guys. We could turn the loop on the herringbone, or we could turn the loop on the ear wire. I am going to turn the loop on the herringbone. So I think we'll just go like that. And there we go. So pretty. Love that. And then we'll just do the same thing here. Just turn this loop all the way in until that touches. Then I'll kind of kick that down a little bit. And now I will turn this loop before I hang it on there. So we'll just go voila. And that needs to be tucked in a little better there. And then we'll open that up. And then that's my front. And then we'll close that. And then we need to get the file. And we shall, oh, that's pretty. File, I can find it. Okay, guys, let's see, where are you? Where are you? Okay, so we'll file that back. And that'll make sure we have no pokies. Okay. So pretty. There are earring number 1. So pretty. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is thus. Yes, thus. Okay. So this was the makings of starting to do a triple strand. I'm going to put things out of the way, guys, but don't worry. when we're done, I'll pull all of our finished pieces out. How about that? Don't worry. Let me just get this. I've only got so much room, guys. Things are gonna start dropping and going crazy here. Okay, so this I had started to make a beautiful float, and I wanted to do a triple strand with the Coriana chain. So as you can see, this is the start of that. And so let's do this one. Okay, so here was what I did. Let me pull you out. Okay, doing here, guys, I'm kind of just lining up my chain. And so therefore those two are good. And now what I'll do is I think I am going to finish one side with a clamshell, and then I'm going to kind of judge when I'm feeding my beads on here. But I'm thinking we need to go about right there, and we'll trim it at the end. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna grab some of the rest of this stuff. Where are you? Maybe right here. Okay, here's clam. Yeah, and these are those really nice locking jump rings, are what those are. So we do need 2 clamshells, some jump rings, and there's our clasp. And I think that's what a lot of, here's my crimps. Okay, so let's push these to the side for a second here. Okay, so on this case too, guys, you can use any crimps you want. I do have some crimp tubes and some crimp beads here. I'll show you a trick, because we're going to make some, I have some Coriana chain earrings to do. I'll show you a fun trick with what I do with those, with the tubes, the crimp tubes. So let me get those kind of out of here. And now I just have my crimp beads, because I like to just kind of do like the fishing off the mat. Okay, so let me grab one side. And of course, you know, you can finish these and start these any way you want. What I'm going to do is, let me get you in here. I like to go fishing, guys. So I am going to put a crimp, fish it off my mat, okay? And so when I'm starting the one side, we only have to worry about a crimp right now. You can also, by the way, use your crimping tool or your chain nose, and we'll just squeeze that. And then what I'm going to do, we'll do the tug test, make sure it doesn't come off. And then what I'm going to do is go on the other side to put my clamshell with the belly facing up, and we'll let that come all the way to the other side of the necklace. And now one side is done. Now you don't have to do it that way. You can do it any way you like. We'll just close that up. I just prefer to do it this way. You can do it any way you like. If you want to finish both sides off at the same time, you can do that. Now, we're going to do a float. So every time I put on a bead, I also need to crimp. So I'm going to start with the crimp, and then I'm going to feed on a bead, and then I'll put on another crimp. And so I'm putting a crimp to hug basically each side of my beads, right? So that when we get ready to stabilize these in their floating position, right, they will not move. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do one, and then I need another crimp. So I'll put on a crimp, and then that bicone, and then another crimp. And so after every bead and before every bead, I'm putting on their own little crimps. And then I need to put on, I think I'm going to do 3 of these cuboids. Now it is Coriana chain, so I don't want it to be too weighty. So bearing that in mind. So there's that, and then we'll do 2 crimps. Let me just keep feeding them on here until all my beads are on. Okay, so as you saw it, because I grabbed that long piece of chain, friends, as you saw. So we'll cut it to size. So here is what's happening. I'm gonna make sure that I am putting my chain on the jump rings in the order that it lays. That does help a little bit, to not make it all twisted up and whatnots. Now, again, you can absolutely add your own, each of the chains have their own jump ring. Okay, at 100%. There's like 1,000 ways. I'm going to do it a really easy way. So my thoughts are, what I'm going to do is I am going to use just this one jump ring to connect all of my strands. And then we will use another jump ring with our closure. And that'll make it easier. So this is my inner strand, right? So on the one side, I need to grab some chain nose. So I've got this on here, right? And, well, I don't even see, oh, because these are locking. I'm like, where is the jump ring opening? There it is. These are those nice locking ones. Okay, so if I've got my inner strand, then this would be my middle strand. I'm going to go through. Okay. And then the strand, I got to be careful because I didn't do anything over here yet, but I did finish off one side. So let me grab just this side. And that's going to help me as we are designing this last strand and put my floats in place to side. So I can just see precisely how this is about to lay. Okay, so let's get that closed. Okay, so that's what I have. Okay, now I'm gonna lay that down. And I'm gonna hold this so I don't lose all that. And let's get this laying correctly. So this goes this way. Okay, there we go. All right. So now let's get all these guys together here. Okay, so this one we're getting ready to work on. So then my second strand is right here. And the middle strand, there's my crimp. So now I get a better idea of how to floaty float. How I'm wanting to floaty float. Okay, so I'm kind of just doing my best here to line my jump rings up. And then this guy will be about right there. This is pretty. This would make a really pretty gift, but I think I'm going to keep this one. I made one similar to this, not exact, but similar. And last year. And I believe I either sold it or gifted it. You know what I just noticed? That's what I was just looking at, guys. You know what I did here? I just forgot. I put the ovals, the teeny tot ovals, because then that way it hangs less crowded, such as it is right here. It's hanging more crowded, right? So, in other words, you can put a teeny tot jump ring like I did on this first strand, and then this one, that way the clam will lay a little bit above, and then the outer one I was just supposed to put the teeny tot, so they kind of stagger. Can you see that? Let me zoom you guys in. You see what I'm saying? And then this way it's a little less crowded there, right? I forgot. Okay, let me fix that. So that's why I have these teeny tots in here. There they are. So I need 2 of those. I need 1. The other side's already done too, so we just need 1. No, we need 2. Okay, let me fix that. And also I'm going to get another pair of pliers. So for this outer strand right here, I need to put a teeny tot on. I mean, again, you do not have to do this, but I did learn that this does help reduce the bulk. Helps the necklaces lay really nice. And we'll just make sure that that's nice and closed. And now we'll put that right back on there. But now I'll feed the jump ring on. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. And I'm going to end up doing the same exact thing on the other side. Nice lock and jump ring there. So there we go. That's what that looks like. All right. So, free tips and tricks on Christmas. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let me get over here. I feel like I'm running off my mat. Okay, so there we go. There we go. And so this is the depth there. Okay, wonder bars. And now let's go and decide where everybody needs to float and where I can cut this chain. Ooh, those, look, you guys, look at these cuboids on here. Oh my word. Oh, God, that's gorgeous. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is just grab my chain nose and start putting my crimps in place and deciding where everybody needs to be. And, oh yeah, I mean, this is just insane. This is so pretty, you guys, so elegant. So I'm thinking I'm gonna almost like go across from here. This one, I'm gonna start right there. And then I'll just push that crimp together in between my chain nose. And sometimes I need to like hold the chain. I find to be helpful when you're putting your crimps in place. And let's see, what do I want to do here? Maybe we'll really give it some depth on this one. So I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to push this crimp up and get that stable. There we go. And now we have these beautiful cuboids. Let me get these guys pushed over here. I was almost thinking, guys, that this would be pretty if all three were like that. I mean, we could really do it like this too, though. I mean, oh, these cuboids are stunning. On this Coriana chain, this is a whole moment. This is just a vibe. This is a vibe, but I really think that they look a little prettier. If you guys are with me, let me know in the comments if you would have put them wider. I don't know. I'm really digging the way that that looks a lot closer together there. I think that just looks super pretty. I almost want to push them precisely together, to tell you the truth. Now, before I do that, what I need to do up here is I really need to hold this outer strand and determine now my depth, right? So do I want it to be longer or do I want it to be shorter before I put these guys in place? So let me see. That I feel like is a smidge too long. I think about right here, guys. I think I like the way that this dimension is between these three strands, about right there. But you know what? Here's another thing I just realized I think I'm going to do. I'm not going to put these in place until we completely connect them, and then I can really see my center. So that's what I'm going to do there. Now with this, we just need to, where's my crimp? There it is. So this one, I think I'm just going to go about right here. Yeah, because, you know, when you, this is why I do them like this, guys, by the way. When you put your multi-strand beaded chains together, and don't put them on the jump rings, sometimes, not always, but just sometimes, and again, it's just, you know, design preferences and whatnot, they may lay a little bit off, which is exactly why, by the way, I'm always doing like a symmetrical, floating them, staggering, in other words, staggering them, for that very reason. Then they just hang like you did it intentionally. Yeah. So, okay, we've got to get these in place, but let's finish this one up. And so now I need to cut, and we'll put a clamshell. I need another clamshell. And get this on the jump ring, and then we'll finish this one up. Okay, so we got that and that. And now let's see. I think about right here is what I'm digging. About right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this right here, guys. Okay, so now I need to put on my clamshell with the belly facing out first. And then I need to put on my crimp. So we'll do that. Oh, guys, it is crazy weather here in Southern California, where I currently am. We are having, they're calling it the storm of the season, which is kind of dramatic. But at any rate, yeah, it's raining, flood advisories. There'll probably be mudslides in all those burn areas. I would not be surprised in Malibu and the Palisades. They're probably got all the sandbag situations happening. But, you know, look, we need the rain. It's just, it's crazy here because it doesn't rain properly in like the seasons as it should. So when it does rain, it just literally wreaks havoc. And then we just continue to stay in these drought situations. It's just so absurd. The weather, the way the weather patterns have been for years. And, you know, guys, I don't know. Okay, so let me tell you things. So I've been out in California, Southern California. For now, I am not a native. I am a native Michigander. I am from Michigan, right off of Lake St. Clair. So where the thumb is, towards New York over there, between that and Ontario, Canada. Right there. That's my hometown over on that side of Michigan. So I moved out here because my mom is a native Californian. And so I moved out here to be closer to her and to go to school and, you know, try to have a life, right? And that was almost 26 years ago. So I have now been out here. I think we're in about year 20, going into year 26 here now. Yeah? So what's your issue? What's the issue with my clamshell? You're not letting it go on because you're not lined up. That's your issue. So yeah. So here's the thing, guys. I am very, very much considering, and by the way, you got to be so careful what I'm doing right now, because these clamshells will break in a New York minute, but these are not quite straight. So I am not a native Californian, but I've acclimated to this weather out here, that's for sure, right? So it gets out to the 50s here, and to me, it's freezing. It's just so cold. But, I am definitely used to, oh man, guys, like Michigan being my hometown, I mean, I'm used to the crazy, it's literally 8 degrees with the wind chill and that Canada front that comes in. That's, that's what I grew up in. I'm used to that. So, yeah, so there's a fun fact. So I've been out here a long, long time, but I will let you guys in on something that's probably going to be coming up next year, I hope, is I think that I am moving back home. And if not, it's going to be somewhere. And the reason, friends, is because it's such a tough day. That's why I jumped on, so I don't really want to get into even talking about my real life because it's just almost too much to deal with sometimes. But, the reason I came here was for my mom. And, now my mom is with the Lord. And therefore, I'm really having a hard time, guys, with it. And I just, it's just tough. And I feel so like just disconnected, and almost lost, but it's not really lost. Just I have no connection. Certainly I've built a life, and I've had my career here. But life changes, doesn't it? And when life throws you lemons, right? We make lemonade, friends. So there's a sneak peek of a little tea that I just dropped on you guys of what I am thinking is coming up in my world in the near future. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is insane. Can you guys see? Look at how that's hanging. Oh my gosh. And you know what? This is so pretty with this hanging, but I'm going to stagger it a little bit. So anyway, so yeah, so it's so funny too, because I sit and I think to myself, oh man, I wonder how I'm going to handle that. Because like I was just saying, man, I'm not kidding you. When it is like 50 here, I mean, oh man, that is really cold to me. But, and again, too, I'm not getting any younger. None of us are. Apparently, age goes forward, not backward. Okay, that crimp right there is not happy. There we go. So anyway, so yeah, so I'm very much considering a move. Also, there are many, many reasons, financials. There's a lot of reasons, actually, guys. Very, very expensive to live here in California. But also, you only live once, and you know how sometimes you just feel like, these are not my people. This is not my home. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through. I don't feel like this is my home. And frankly, I never really did. And then, COVID hit and has certainly changed everything. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. And, my life is completely pivoted from COVID, as many people's lives have. Oh, that's what that looks like, guys. I'll pull it up when we're done. So, yeah, so I'm really thinking about moving, friends. Where did I put the other project? Oh, there it is. I was thinking about Tennessee. I was also thinking about New Jersey. I've been thinking about New Jersey for years. And, You know, there's so many beautiful places, and I'm kind of always been like a free spirit like that. I've also lived in Vegas. I kind of get in the mood and I'm like, okay. And that's the beautiful thing, right? About life is life, gives you lemons, you make lemonade. But I also am like, the world is my oyster. It's kind of how I am. So anyways, guys, so look at what I have up next. So this is going to be fun, but this is almost done. And since we just made that necklace, this was the earrings that I had. And I actually left them like this on purpose. I wanted to show you guys something. And also I was telling you about putting, I wanted to tell you guys a trick about putting the crimp tubes when you're using 2 pieces of the chain. Okay, and I get a lot of questions about these. So I intentionally left this one like that because I want to explain to you the different looks that you can achieve with the chain. I wanted to show you rather, not explain. And just give you some ideas. So, okay, let me get things out of the way that I'm fairly certain I'm not going to be using. Okay, so here is another thing, the shoulder dust. The shoulder dust earrings, so these are already done. How fabulous are these, right? I mean, I cannot even take, these are 4 inches, by the way, guys, so I just cut my chain, put it on a clamshell, and I hung it right on this beautiful ear wire, okay? And how beautiful are those, right? Those shoulder dusts, these are going to trend next year as well. So these are already done, okay? And so we've got those. And then these I made to go with the necklace. So I believe that's what these findings in here are for. And the crimp tubes, my friends. And let me show you something that is really cool. I've got way too much going on here. What I just need 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. So here is a really cool thing. What did I do here? Let me see what I did first. I know I already cut my pieces. I can always trim. Yeah, okay. So here's a really cool thing. So let's put our Coriander chain together. And so these are already done. And I'm going to get you guys, are you zoomed in? Okay, there we go. Okay, so a crimp tube, like a number 2 or a number 3. That's what I have here. It's here. Let me grab it. There it is. Okay, so we can put 2 pieces of Coriander chain in a larger crimp tube. That, again, that's a number 3. Okay, you see that? How cool is that, right? So you do not have to necessarily be on the struggle bus with crimping 2 pieces of Coriander chain off independently. You can get them on these particular clamshells that came in my sleigh ride bag, but I also offer these in my store. They just have a little bigger of a hole. And you can check the listing in my store. I don't know off the top of my head, but that's what I'm working with here. And these clamshells will go right through. So just notice what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get my tails kind of somewhat even here on the top. And then I am going to pull that crimp as far up as I need to just leave a little bit of a tail, okay? And I'm going to give it a squeeze. Now, what I'm going to do is use my crimper. And I'm going to go right in that divot portion there where that's coming out. Looks like the little mountain right there. That's what I call it, because see, I crimped it, but it's not grabbed my chain yet. And I'm going to put that right inside that divot and squeeze. And voila, just like beading wire. You know, just how the beading chain is on either side of my crimp, right? And that is not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. That's good. We can fold it over if we want. We just have to be careful. Okay, and now I will grab my clamshell if I can find it. Where'd you go? There you are. Okay, and so now we need to go with the belly up and get the clamshell on there. So we will feed this down that hole. And and try to get that other piece of chain down that hole. And sometimes it takes a minute, but it'll go because I did the other one. I think, well, we'll be patient, you know, we'll get it in there. And there we go. Okay, now we'll pull that clamshell up and close. And close. And there we go. And in this case, I just literally am going to hang these on a pair of ear wires that are already made for me. So we'll make that easy. I'll just feed those right on the ear wires. And similar thing as I just did over on the necklace, I'm just going to place my floats staggering moment kind of down here. Okay. So this is a really fun set. And like I said, this one for sure, I'm keeping this one. Like I said, I'm almost certain that I sold my one I made like this last year. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. Remember when I was launching this bag and I was talking about, guys, I cannot believe how little holiday jewelry I have. So I'm going to solve that problem. So I guess it took me till Christmas Eve to solve my problem, but better late than never, right? So there we go, guys. So here's these fun floats. And let's see. Let me get these kind of even here. And just cut those there. And voila, those are done. I better get these crimps out of my way before we have a really bad problem. Okay, guys, so there's those. So we have those. And so it's 1, 2, 3 things. So this is so fun. So I think this is probably, oh, that's right. I was possibly thinking about doing some cool wire earrings. That's what I was thinking. Oh, my little stars. My little stars. They're falling off the mat. So I got this, it's a fun idea. I just cut a link of chain, right? Of the Starling chain. You can use any fun chain in any color for that fact, any size, just really doesn't not matter. And I just cut this to go around my wrists. So it's kind of dainty chain, but we could also double it up, right? And I just thought it'd be fun to maybe use a bunch of charms with some jump rings. We can just make a really cute, easy charm bracelet. Now with this in particular, memory wire earrings, guys. So this is my idea with this one, is just to use a couple of beautiful beads. And I have some, these are those window beads. And then I have some spacers, and you can use some seed beads or whatever will go through your memory wire. I'm just using 2 beads for this one. And so what I did, guys, was I did a full rotation of the medium size gold memory wire bracelet. This is the medium size, not the large. So this is the medium bracelet. And notice how I cut it right here, where, can you see it right there? Where it's literally touching. So just one full rotation without overlapping. Okay, that's what I did here on both. Okay, and I did use my memory wire cutter, so make sure you're going to use your memory wire. And we will need our memory wire cutters for this. So let me pull you out. And I'm going to grab a pair of ear wires, but I don't have the turn in a loop. And I'm going to use my 6-step, guys, because it's memory wire, right? It's tempered steel. So I'm going to go on that small portion of my bail. And I'm going to turn in a loop. I'm going to go right to the edge of that wire. And I'm just going to keep rotating my tool and my wrist, right? Until those wires touch. And then I might need to get another pair of pliers involved to ensure that that is closed, because we do want to make sure those are closed on any ear wire for that matter. Let me see, what do these look like? Yeah, these are closed ear wires, so we should be okay, but we don't want them falling off. So let me try to, steady as she goes, get that closed a little better. That should be okay. Okay, so that's what I've got. And now I was going to just feed on these beautiful window beads in no particular direction or order because they're all a little bit different. I just wanted to put a gold spacer in between, but I'm not going to fill up the whole hoop either. I just thought these might be fun. Okay, so there we go. And just real simple, guys. These are just like making a memory wire bracelet. Super fast and easy. Okay, so this is going to be the way my earring hangs. Okay, so it just really depends how many you want, but I don't want them to be too heavy either. How many earrings do you want? Or how many beads do you want on your earring? Total super simple, easy design, fast, you know, kind of almost universal. Most people like hoops. Most, not all, most. I like hoop earrings. I don't have very many. That's why I'm making them. That's why I'm making these, because I don't really have any. But I'm also being mindful of my weight right now. So I'm thinking that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's good. I'm thinking that's good. And I think I am going to end it. I did not start it with a spacer, but I'm going to end it with one. There we go. And now is the fun part. I just have to literally decide how big I want these. So, I could certainly leave them like that, by the way, guys. Here's a couple options. We can turn in a loop here and be done. And that's how they hang, right? That's beautiful. That's gorgeous, right? Or, we can get rid of some of this, which is what I intend to do, and make it almost like, kind of like a half moon situation. So like a half hoop where, you can push these. I could even push them all the way up, actually, right? There's another. We can cut it right here and make a loop. And they just look like this, which is really actually beautiful now that I'm looking at it. Ooh, that's really pretty. Or we could kind of let some of that gold show through on the hoop and kind of cut it there. Now that I'm looking at them, guys, ooh, you know what? I don't know. Gosh, now I don't know, guys. Do I want them like this and just pretend all that is not there? Because that is really pretty. Or do I want them like this? You know what? I just realized as I was just doing that, I want them like this because that is so pretty. Oh my goodness. I love that. Okay, that's what we're doing. So I'm just going to push them all the way up, and I'm using my memory wire cutters, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. And let's see. Let's go about right there. And let's turn in a loop, and I'm going to see if I can even get enough room here for 2 loops. Yeah, let's do 2 loops just because it's an earring. It's kind of like almost 1.5. And make sure that pokey is on the inside. Oh my God, I just love these. I just love these. Yeah, I did not know how these were going to turn out, and that fabulous. Sometimes you don't know how things turn out until you make them. And these, again, are not heavy. And that memory wire is perfect for an earring like this. We could also have accomplished that by doing some craft wire. But look how cool those are. Ooh, I like those. Okay, let me make the other pair of these.